anime and Warhammer. Tune into Ken Green Tats and Talks podcast.
What's the crack, everybody? You're listening to the Ken Green Tats and Talks podcast with me, your host, Ken. As an anime tattoo artist, I just wanted to make a show and talk about the stuff that drives my art. We will critique some of my tattoos. We'll also have a talk about other artists that I like or that I aspire to be, all that kind of stuff. We'll chat a bit about anime and manga, and we'll chat about the painting side of Warhammer. That's pretty much all there is to it, in short and sweet. And if you want to join me on this mad journey into my brain, give us a wee cheeky follow. Okay, so today's episode, we're talking about anime. So forewarning, if you're here for the tattoo side or the Warhammer side, this is all going to be about anime. Now, it's mostly about the stuff that I have watched and read and all that kind of crap. We're not going to deep dive too much into anything, really, but it's more just letting you know that this is an anime episode. This isn't what you're here for. Leave it till next week. So what are we doing today? We are talking about, I have rearranged everything on my iPad to make it more streamlined. I've forgotten what everything is. Okay, so now comes the crazy list. So there's a lot of stuff that I've finished manga-wise. Now, to give you a heads up, I don't really watch an awful lot of anime just for time. You know what I mean? It's much easier for me to sit for 20 minutes at night and blast through like 5 to 10 chapters of a manga than it is to sit and watch one episode of anime, just because I just don't have the time with kids, family life, work, designs, Instagram, social media in general, this thing, prepping. It's amazing how much prep goes into a podcast. You don't realize until you actually start. Like, it takes me an hour just to set this up, like to get the lighting right and all that kind of nonsense. It's madness. Anyway, so I don't necessarily watch a lot of anime. I'd say the stuff that I watch, I'm watching Demon Slayer only because I finished reading the manga ages ago and and I've spoke to a few customers about this. I thought it was okay. It wasn't horrendous. It wasn't like a flip me, I'll reread that again. It was like, all right. But the guys who are animating it at the moment, oh my god, they are making it way better. It's one of the few ones where I went, the anime is better than the manga. Now, because I read it so long ago, I don't know if they're leaving too much out. And there's actually some parts in the anime that I completely forgot existed from the manga because it was that long ago. But yeah, so it's kind of it's one of the few ones that it's better. But I'm watching that. But I'm only watching that because it's on Netflix. More than anything else, I don't have Crunchyroll or anything like that. What else am I watching? I'm watching the current Dragon Ball Daima. I'm not massively fussed on that. Dragon Ball was my beginner. That was the first thing I ever seen and went, what the heck is this stuff? And then I started delving into the manga side of it and stuff like that. I remember one of the first mangas I bought somewhere in Belfast, and I would be trying to remember where it was the last couple of days. I can't remember where it was, but it had like lots of like old manga, and they were selling it for dirt cheap as well. I think I picked them up for like 50p. But it was actually old issues of Alita Battle Angel. Like, weirdly enough, I was a wee bit disappointed about that movie as well, but it wasn't too bad. But yeah, I did that, and I started reading some Dragon Ball. But at the time, I was big into like 2000 AD, like Judge Dredd and stuff like that. Strontium Dogs and all those. Rogue Trooper. Oh, he was cool. But yeah, Sinister and Dexter. Sorry, I'm just remembering all like really good stories. And the artwork was always phenomenal. I think Simon Bisley was like one of my top tier, um, like I wouldn't say animators, like drawers, if you know what I mean. Whether he actually painted his stuff. Um, if you ever get a chance, read the Batman Die Laughing. It's like a Dread and Batman crossover where Judge Death takes over the Joker and messes around with Gotham City and stuff. But Dread comes in help. So good. It's just it's even just the artwork. If you're ever in the shop, ask. I have it in the shop. You just can sit and read it while you're getting tattooed. I have quite a large collection of comics and manga in the shop, so you can distract yourselves while you're getting tattooed if you want to do. But yeah, so it all started with Dragon Ball. So I watch it. I've watched everything, and Dragon Ball Daima gives me GT vibes. I wasn't a big fan of GT. I think the only thing good about Dragon Ball GT was the Super Saiyan 4, 3, can't remember, transformation where it was like the black hair and the red fur. That was the coolest thing that came out of that. The rest of that, I just couldn't stand it. Although so many people have said to give it another shot, but I didn't like the fact he was turned back into a kid. You know what I mean? Same with Daima. I understand this is a bit more like they've been turned into kids, but they're still just as strong and stuff. They don't have to relearn anything. But still, it's not very interesting. Which is actually really annoying because they've released that. Now, I understand why they've released it because it's the last thing that Toriyama had written before he died. There hasn't been a Dragon Ball, what is it? It's Dragon Ball Super, I think the manga's called at the moment. There hasn't been a Dragon Ball manga in months now since he died, basically, which was a fair wee while ago now. So it's kind of it's a bit sad, but that's why I'm watching it. Um, Castlevania as well, another good thing on Netflix. Um, it's I wouldn't okay, so it's not it's anime style based on the computer games. The latest one, the Nocturne or Nocture or whatever the heck it's called, isn't as good as the original series. The original series was banging. If you haven't watched it. I think there's maybe two or three of them. The animation and stuff in that is brilliant. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of all I'm really watching. Oh, and I started watching Sakamoto Days only because it was on Netflix. But I am currently reading Sakamoto Days, so I am caught up. I might be actually no, I haven't read yesterday's issue, so I'm one issue behind. But Sakamoto Days, oh, it's so good. You'll notice probably from the list of stuff that I give here that I have a particular type that I enjoy. It has to be action, it has to be stupid, and it has to have funny bits in it. Those tends to be what draws me in. Um, which is actually weirdly when you think about like I've done a lot of Dan to Dan tattoos recently, and I had never heard of it before. It was actually before it was the theme tune that was all over Instagram by what was it Creepy Nuts. Such a good show. I was like, this is banging, and then it popped up on Netflix. So I actually started watching it, and then was like, well, that's pretty cool. I'm going to read it. So I started reading it. And I haven't actually caught up to where the series finished yet, but I'm getting there. But yeah, the Dan to Dan, it's another one that's got action, but it's funny. Like he loses his balls and stuff. Like it's stupid but brilliant, and it's about aliens and spirits. It's so good. Um, but yeah, it's like stupid stuff like that. But Sakamoto Days, another great one. Like, and I was sitting thinking about it. Like, it should be a really good anime because from what I remember, there hasn't there hasn't been any filler episodes in Sakamoto Days. It's not like you'll have a bit of story and then some guff. It's literally the story has flowed from the very beginning all the way through, and there's always been a fight scene or some sort of action each issue. You know what I mean? So that just means that every episode should have a bit of action, a bit of coolness, and then there obviously is just stupid stuff um, that happens that's funny. But I'm going to give you a quick list of what I'm currently reading. That's all. I'm just going to rattle through these because there's no point. So I'm reading Shonen X, Chainsaw Man, Kaiju number 8, Seraph of the End, Sakamoto Days, Boruto. I can't help it. One Punch Man, Undead Unlock, World Trigger, Hunter x Hunter, Black Clover, Blue Exorcist, Dan Dan, Kagurabaki. I think that's how you say it. It's actually quite cool. One Piece, News Exorcist, Jujutsu Kaisen. Well, I'm caught up with that. Twin Star Exorcists, Spy X Family, My Hero Academia, um, Blade of the Moon Princess, Ghost Reaper Girl, Dragon Ball, obviously, Mashal, which I do hope comes back. I'll get onto that in a minute. The Elusive Samurai, a couple of Naruto spin offs, a couple of Chainsaw Man spin offs, and then some ones that Seventh Garden. They haven't updated that in ages, and Science versus Magic, but it was a one shot done by the guy who does One Punch Man. It was really good. But those are the ones I'm currently reading. Oh, and Berserk, when I find an episode, an issue of that online somewhere in order, because they're always scattered all over the place. But that's those tend to be what I am reading at the moment. Some of them I'm waiting on the weekly or monthly or bi-monthly or however the heck they come out. Like Black Clover, it seems to have moved to, I think it's monthly. I'm not even sure. And when it does come out, it's just a normal length. I understand. I think he's taking a break. He's not feeling well. Maybe if I remember correctly, reading that. But it's just kind of like you wait so long and then nothing because it's kind of cool. It's at a good part again. He's gone off and he's learned stuff and he's come back. He went to Nami's. No, not Nami's. Yeah, the captain's homeland and came back with his sister and learned some samurai slashy katana moves, which is kind of cool. And he's basically their power is based on like a chi based kind of thing, like it normally is over there. But what is his name? Kami? No, no. Oh, someone write in the comments what his name is because I've forgotten what his name is. The captain of the Black Clovers. Here's he. Like, or not the Black Clovers, the Black. See, it's been so long I can't even remember. Black Stallions? No, is that right? Bulls, Black Bulls, Black Bulls. Yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, there's some really good ones in there. I would highly recommend the one I couldn't pronounce, Kagurabaki. It's about sort of magic swords in like a modern day sort of thing, but like there's a couple of really powerful ones, and the main character was his dad that made them, and he's now going to. His dad was killed, so he's on a wee bit of a vengeance thing. But it's cool. It's like it's proper, like it's gory and it's cool, and the magic that the swords use is really cool. And then there also is sorcerers that fight, and it's really good. There's obviously like a cabal of bad guys that they're trying to find out where they're coming from and stuff like that. But it's really good. Um, Twin Star Exorcist was a good one. I think it's over as well, same as Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, that's good. Again, action, stupid, funny. It's what I want. It's what I do. Same with News Exorcist. Spy X Family, I'm struggling with at the moment. I think I'm a wee bit behind on that. Only because it started to get too politically spy kind of stuff, and it wasn't very interesting. Like Anya wasn't really doing anything. Her issues were just filler issues. She did a couple of cool things on the bus in school, but meh, like trying not to get basically a demerit at school. Who cares? Um, Yor hasn't done anything freaking cool in ages. She was badass. She's a badass assassin and has done nothing apart from learn to become housewife, and it's I'm struggling reading it. I only read it if I'm super bored. My Hero Academy was good. A wee bit mainstream. Deku annoyed the pants out of me by the end of it. But there was a couple of shining stars coming up um, through that. And All Might, even at the very end, fighting in a big mech suit kind of thing, was kind of cool. But I just didn't like how they finished that one. It was a bit meh. Um, Ghost Reaper Girl is cool. It sporadically gets issues. I don't know, like it disappeared for like a year and a half, and then came back with a couple. And now it stopped again. So I don't know what's going on with that. Um, Dragon Ball, like I said, it hasn't been out in ages. Mashal. Now, I know a lot of people are watching Mashal now because it's now got its own anime, and it even came out on, was it Netflix? Maybe it was Netflix. I can't remember where it was. Even I watched it because I loved the anime. I finished reading the manga ages ago. Um, it's very cool. Like it is just daft. It's like Hogwarts, but with a muscly guy in it. You know what I mean? It's like Hogwarts with Superman in it, or Goku, or something like that. It's just like he just does all the magic stuff that they can do, but uses his strength or his muscle magic, as he calls it. But the whole story is brilliant, and they left it open. Like there's no reason why it couldn't come back with another arc. You know what I mean? It's not like it like everyone died or it's the finish and he's gone. No, they left it where they could continue it on really easily. So I'm hoping it comes back. Um, it definitely will. Like I think there's still like if they're going to do an anime at that kind of speed, they will have a good number of series before it gets to the end of it anyway. So plenty of time. Naruto. Now, I have obviously read Naruto. Like the ones I've completely finished: Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z. I'm reading Dragon Ball Super at the moment. Flip me. Ubelblatt was a good one. Claymore was a good one. Um, Trying to remember some of the ones that have finished, but because I finished them, they were so long ago. Um, no, I probably should have written this down rather than trying to think of it off the top of my head live on a podcast, which is a bit stupid. I kind of just wrote down what I roughly was going to talk about rather than actually talking. Anyway, Boruto is obviously it's Naruto's son, and Naruto does feature in Boruto. The first bit, what was it? It's called Naruto Next Generations. My advice is don't read it. Read a synopsis of it that's like a paragraph long, and that's all you need. It is rubbish. It's not great. It's not very exciting. It gets okay-ish towards the end, but then meh. But then it does a time skip. So it does, and after the time skip, it's proper Naruto-esque. Now, I still am not 100% sure on who who the bad guys are. Like it's Divine Trees, and it's the Divine Beasts, and then it's the cyborgs, and then it's like aliens. As far as I can, it's a wee bit confusing. But if you just read it for like the jitsu and the fighting and how he's going to get out of his situations and turn everything back around again, it's worth it. Like if you're a big Naruto fan, you might as well continue. That's my problem. I tend to, if I start reading something, I'll finish reading something. I invest, which is stupid. Like I have that's probably why I can't remember some of the stuff is finished because it's been so crap. I didn't bother. There was that what was that one about the kids? Garden of Eden or something? And there was like monsters. I read all of it. It was okay. It was yeah, it was okay. It wasn't great. It was okay. I did actually in the end find all of Alita Battle Angel and read all of that. In fact, I've read that a couple of times. I really enjoyed that. Um, what else is here? Blah, 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 Obviously, Dan to Dan. One Piece is One Piece. I was worried. Like I don't know if again spoilers, but they were on Eggman Island, and I found reading the manga that the writer was tying up a lot of loose ends and revealing a lot of big things, like about the elders and stuff. It was like there was so much happening. I was like, "What's happening here?" Like he's just pop, 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 pop. And I was worried he was wrapping it up too quickly, and it would think. But now they've gone to Elbaf, the land of the giants, and it's now interesting again. It's kind of it's slowed down. It's just one kind of linear story with a wee sort of side thing happening, and it's fine. It's good, and I'm enjoying it again. But Eggman Island was difficult. I was worried there was too many things getting tied off nicely. It's like he's streamlining too much, but then hopefully that means you can just forget about them and continue in the main story. Be interesting to see what everyone thinks the One Piece is. Anyone who reads it and anyone who's listening, fire down in the comments and tell me what you think it is. I have a couple of ideas, and I think one of my ideas will enrage everybody. But I've actually spoke to a few people and they have the same idea, so it could be like the worst thing ever. But then it couldn't be. So what does everyone think it is? That'd be kind of cool. Um, One Punch Man, obviously, it's so good. I'm kind of glad it's back to being. I took a wee bit of a break there for a while, and now it's back a bit more regularly. One Punch Man is one of my all-time favorites. It's just stupid. It's pointless. It's just one guy who can beat everything in one punch, and then when he has to actually try harder, he just ends up like they think they're winning, and he's just like no. Then he gets serious and does a serious punch, and then finishes it. It's so funny. Undead Unluck is a good one. It's kind of I don't quite understand the premise of it. I don't know if it is like it's hinting that the world we live in at the moment is like the I don't know 100th version of it, and each time all this stuff happens, and because they fight against like umas that are like umas of death and sight and language, and it's kind of like once they defeat them, they break the rule or something like that. So I don't hundred, but it's still fun. It's stupid, and the one of the main guys, undead Andy. It's like the way he fights and stuff is class. He can regenerate because he's undead. He doesn't die, so he uses like his fingers as bullets. So he bites them and shoots them and stuff like that, and it's quite cool. Black Clover, like I said, with that. Blue Exorcist. Blue Exorcist started off good. Now I don't know much about the anime. I don't know where it's up to. I don't even know if they're still doing it. But it's gone to like a monthly or bi-monthly issue, and it's starting. That's making it hard to read. It slows it down so much. Um, the I think they're going up against the devil again, but there's been another time skip at some point, and it's very confusing. Um, but it's okay. It's still good. It started to get interesting again now that they're actually fighting devils and stuff. Hunter x Hunter. Now that is so popular. Like there's so many people love it. Um, but I think a lot of people struggle with the way it's being written at the moment. Now it's completely understandable. The guy who originally wrote it, he's really ill. Kind of makes you worry, like how many manga artists burn themselves out or get themselves so sick that they can't continue to work. Like surely you would try and pace yourself. I know they have like manga has a ridiculous schedule of one issue a week. Um, but surely you could have like a team of people drawn. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but it just seems like a lot of them get super ill, and it's probably down to the work. They're just forcing themselves to go go go. But yeah, Hunter x Hunter. I don't like the current arc. I hate the current arc actually. I loved it up to the point where um, Gon met his dad, and it was all cool. And then it skipped to this boat journey, and the only one really from the original what that's in it is the guy with the chain. I can never remember. Is it Kiriyama or something? Can never remember his name. And he's like the worst of the lot of them. Like honestly, I would have preferred anyone else but him. Even the assassin boy, Lightning Fingers. I don't remember his name is. Um, like they, yeah, I don't like the. And then because obviously since he's got ill, apparently it's his wife has taken over, and his wife used to write for Sailor Moon, if I remember correctly. And it's so wordy. It's so wordy. It's kind of it's bleh, you know what I mean. There's very little drawing and then a lot of words. And I don't know about you guys, but I didn't get into manga for the words. Admittedly, it's great when the story is good, but it's the drawing that I want to look at and stuff. I don't really give a crap about all the words. So when there's too many of them, I get really bored. Um, World Trigger is another one. World Trigger's a good one. Again, it's gone to monthly and has slow downloads. Like it really ramped it up. It's about beings from another world trying to invade Earth. So they've like the whole start of it was them fighting against it, and then there's one or two of them came across and ended up fighting for humans. And it's kind of and then it geared up to them going to that world to fight back. But then they started doing all these like what's the word exams tests I don't know for all the people in the organization, and flip me, it's been going on for years. It feels like years anyway, and they still haven't picked. Like they're still doing all these ridiculous tests. It's a pain in the bum. So it starts off great, but it's really starting to get super slow and really boring. Uh, Kaiju number 8, if anyone has read it, such a fun one. I'm up to date, so he's just done another transformation, which is good. It's really interesting. Um, but yeah, again, it's action, stupid. You know what I mean? The hero is basically a janitor who accidentally became a monster. You know what I mean? It's great. Seraph of the End was good. That's another one. It's about kind of like vampires and humans and stuff like that, and demons. Well, demon swords, I suppose. Um, it's kind of good. I think it's getting towards the end now. It got a wee bit sort of loosey toward for a while, but then it's started to refocus again, so that's kind of good. And then last one I want to talk about, Chainsaw Man. If you haven't started reading Chainsaw Man and you've watched it, watch until this main story is over and read that one. Read up to there. After that, don't bother. I don't know if the guys who wrote it were like, let's write this. This will be fun. And then everyone was like, oh, that's a really cool one. So let's make an anime of it. And it became super popular. But they had finished it and they were like, oh crap. Like we're sitting on a cash cow here. Let's write another one. And they've written, and it's horrible. They've turned Denji into a a wet fish pervert. You know what I mean? They've got rid of all the other characters because obviously, if you read the story, you know why. Um, it's yeah. They introduced another character. I can never remember her. The weapon devil. I think that's what her name is, or the war devil maybe. And it's just crap. It really is. And even now that they've started and he's turning back into Chainsaw Man and blah blah blah, it's still not great. Like the first arc was brilliant. This one just seems like an afterthought, and they keep trying new things to make it interesting again, and it's just not working. Um, but yeah, Oh, another thing I was just remembered there. Another anime I was watching just because it was on Prime, Mob Psycho. Um, it was good. I like it. It's just another stupid, fun, fighty, silly one. You'll see a pattern. Like a lot of my stuff is like it has to have a bit of fun in it, but it's the action and the fighting and stuff that really interests me. And I know I probably should watch the anime because that would make the fighting considerably better, you know. But it's a time thing more than anything else. Like it's not for any other reason apart from the fact that I just don't have the time to sit and watch hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of anime. But I can read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of issues of manga in a fraction of the time. You know what I mean? But anyway, so yeah, that is basically all for today. Again, that was just me rambling about anime that I have watched, the manga that I read. It's more to give you a sort of idea of the stuff that I'm into. Now, people have given me stuff to watch and read, and I will try and get around to it whenever I can. If you've got any more that you guys can think of, fire it in the comments below, and I'll get around to it at some point, I'm sure. With a lot of stuff coming to an end, there probably will be time for it. Like I said, these first couple of episodes are obviously just I'm testing the water to see what works and what doesn't. And then as it goes along, there probably will be stuff I will do less and stuff I will do more, depending on what people want to see. Um, but this one is just about the anime that I like and that has inspired me and that I love tattooing. Really, I do love tattooing anything with them. But join me next week for an episode. What is next week's episode? Episode 4 is one second. Is tattoo critiques. I'm going to go over a couple of my tattoos that I have enjoyed doing. I like point out stuff that I think I could have done better. And break it down that way. I'm not going to go too much into the how-tos. It's more the visual impact of it, stuff like that. So it's not going to be like for apprentices. But yeah, thank you very much. I will see you next week. Love yous.